I've always believed that pleasure is our birthright, something that we get to experience. It's not a nice to have, and that we get to create the experiences and relationships that we want to. Prioritizing pleasure benefits all areas of your life. I spent a long time, like over 5 years, kind of reclaiming my pleasure and my power. And then I started my own business, helping people to do the same.
Today, I'm really excited to introduce Vanessa Hook, who is a somatic sexologist and educator with a master's in sexology and a nursing background. Vanessa helps women connect with their bodies, experience more pleasure, and build authentic, fulfilling relationships.
I think I've always been meant to be working in this space. So from a teenager, I was always someone who was comfortable talking about these things. People would come to me. My best friend told me that I should be a sexologist, and I kind of laughed it off because I didn't think it was like a real thing. And then as I went through my life, I just kept having these experiences that were kind of redirecting me back onto my path and back into this area. In my early 20s, I actually experienced sexual assault, which left me feeling really numb and disconnected and dissociated and all of these things. And I was really struggling to experience pleasure and to feel safe in my body. So I ended up doing my own personal work, working with a sex therapist, and it just completely changed my life. And through the work with her, I just thought to myself, this is the best job in the world. I need to do this for other people. So I think when I went through that experience and I had my kind of power taken away from myself and I no longer felt connected to that, I was very determined to kind of reconnect, because I've always had that mentality of like, no, this is my right. And this is how I'm meant to live. I'm meant to feel good. I'm meant to experience pleasure. And yeah, I just love this work.
Oh, I love it. So it's so common. So many of our podcasts have been the same thing, like someone's lived experience and then that reclamation, and then going, actually, I really want to share this with others because, yeah, it's so cool.
So I've been a nurse for over 5 years. I predominantly have worked in emergency departments and other like acute care areas. And yeah, it is very clinical, and it's very kind of fixing a problem kind of temporarily. And I guess through the years that I've been working in this field, kind of realizing like that's not enough for me. Like I want to do something that's going to change the projection of someone's life, rather than just like help them when they've broken a bone, for example, or someone that's got chronic illness and they're coming in for the third time this month. So I guess I kind of realized that maybe the medical field isn't quite what is right for me. And I feel a lot of the nervous system stuff that I do within my work now is kind of what I would provide to patients anyway. So, because when people come into hospital, they are very stressed. So I think naturally I hold a space that allows them to downregulate, get into the present moment, and be able to emotionally support them. So I think there's a lot of crossover within that and my understanding of the human body and physiology. I help women that come in, and I see people who are going through miscarriages or other tough times. I see people with domestic abuse coming into the emergency department, and all these kind of areas cross over into the work that I do now. So I think that it does benefit my clients in ways that maybe I don't fully like grasp.
And that's it, isn't it? It's putting your energy into something that is our human right, our human design. So that's what someone gets when they work with you is your energy. And you've actually experienced the radical liberation and the deep nourishment, and you feel fully alive as a result of practicing these modalities. So you're going to attract the people who are within your frequency and can see that there is benefit from it, from working alongside you.
Mind-blowing moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that you're going from the apprentice to the alchemist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
I love that.
I spent a long time, like over 5 years, kind of reclaiming my pleasure and my power. And then I started my own business, helping people to do the same. And I think with even the word pleasure, like when I talk about pleasure, I'm not just talking about sexual pleasure. I'm talking about
Mm,
joy in your
hmm
entire life. And
hmm
what I was experiencing in my own journey when I was feeling disconnected wasn't just a lack of sexual pleasure, it was the lack of joy in my entire life because I wasn't connected to my body and I wasn't feeling safe. We experience, those emotions like joy, connection, pleasure when we're in a regulated nervous system state. We don't experience those things when we're stressed out. So if we experience trauma and we don't get the support that we need, or we are constantly feeling overwhelmed and we don't have good boundaries in our life around all the things that drain our energy, we're not going to be able to have those things that we want, which is why this work is so important to just about anyone, so prioritizing pleasure benefits all areas of your life.
Once we pop, we don't stop. When it comes to our nervous system regulation, we've got to continuously up level that. And the universe, as it has done with you, will keep kicking you in the womb until until you take the next level. Yeah.
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 And what about community? What about finding others who I know you're doing some collaborations, and I'm just curious about the community that you're discovering here in New Zealand.
I think a big part of my entrepreneurial journey has been finding those communities and connecting with new people kind of online and people that kind of get the work that I do and maybe other entrepreneurs. Like it helps so much to have people who also have their own mission and can support you through it. Really get what you're about in the life that you're kind of building.
So showing up with discernment in every place you go and share the wisdom that you've already learned at such a young age through lived experience and then having to alchemize what you've been through. And then the ripple effect is so much faster than us just doing the top down leadership empowerment work. So, everybody has the right to remember the power that they have within them.
People will have their assumptions or their judgments about this field and maybe try and make it mean that I only talk about super explicit, very like sexual acts, which it's like not really about at all. Like it's much more about people feeling safe in their bodies, feeling empowered by their sexual selves, which is a right, and being able to communicate what they want and need in relationships.
So I would love to hear a little bit more about your signature golden pleasure method. Are you able to share more about that with us?
I created something called the Golden Pleasure Method, which is just my signature method that I use with all of my clients to help them experience more pleasure and deeper connections, create the experiences and relationships that they want to have. So this method is made up of 3 different kind of areas. The first one is called the safe haven. So this is all about nervous system safety. So when we're working on the safe haven, it's how can you show up as the best partner for yourself? If you don't have safety, you don't have anything, is what I always say. So we always have to start with safety, so people might be coming to me wanting to experience more pleasure in their lives, but it actually starts with safety. So this is like the foundation of my work. We are constantly experiencing stress in our lives, but if we're not able to identify that we're experiencing stress and that our nervous system is activated, we're not going to be able to do the things to regulate ourselves. So the first step is all about awareness and building your toolkit to respond to the very normal human reaction to stress or overwhelm, right? Because it's not about removing stress and it's not about removing emotion. It's about identifying what you're experiencing and being able to regulate yourself back into a state where you can experience pleasure or you can communicate what you want. In this space, I would be teaching nervous system regulation tools. I would be teaching self-compassion and self-awareness. So that kind of all falls under the safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
The second step is called pussy power. And I love that you said that in the introduction because I haven't heard like someone else, like it's just so funny when I hear someone else say it because it's a language that's very like me, but it was just great to hear you say pussy power. Pussy power is about feeling or being empowered by your sexuality or your like genitals. If you think about how society conditions us to feel ashamed of our sexuality or believe it's like hush hush, something that needs to stay in the dark, that can't be talked about, you know, especially women are taught to be like good girls. And we have things like purity culture that tell us not to sleep around and imply that it means anything about our worth when it just does not. Like that is all just societal bullshit, essentially. So pussy power is about embracing that you have these desires and you have these needs, and how can we let that be not only okay but liberate us and empower us. And especially when it comes to reclamation of your body after sexual assault or any kind of shame, or it's whatever you've experienced in the past, it really is about how can I turn this into my power. And I guess that's what I've done in my own story of going from feeling numb and having panic attacks and just feeling so uncomfortable in my body, and as a woman and as someone with, you know, a pussy and all of these things, because of all the things that I had experienced and all the things that I'd been told. So even just like fear mongering of like, it's not safe to be a woman, you need to be careful, you can't dress like that, all of that. So pussy power is about, nah, fuck all of that. I'm going to decide that I get to be powerful, I get to feel liberated, I get to feel empowered. So it's about really being unapologetic about our sexual selves and expressing that side of us. And then the third pillar of my method is called communicate like a baddie. So this is all about communicating what you want and need directly and explicitly to your partners or your connection. The work that I do with people is about moving from that passiveness to a direct communicator, because when you actually say what you want, you give someone the opportunity to give it to you. I have a look at someone's communication style and see what simple shifts in their language is going to land so much better in that connection so that they can experience more pleasure and deeper connections. And I've seen some really powerful shifts from just these small changes in communication.
What's your experience been like stepping into this, kind of coming from a nursing role, which is a total normie job, and accepted and celebrated, and going into something that is, I talk about how Heart Place Hospital is bringing more tada and less taboo in the world. And as you mentioned, this is kind of quite a taboo subject, and it's only really been recently that we have become radically liberated to feel that we can openly talk about it and share it.
At the start, I was hesitant to kind of show up online in this business. I thought that I would receive a lot of like backlash or judgment, mostly from strangers. Like I just thought that people would get their tits in a twist, you know, about it and like kind of like harass me. But I honestly haven't experienced any of that, which has been amazing. So I think sometimes we can make it feel a lot worse in our heads when we go into things like that. I have been doing a lot of collabs like actually in the last couple of months. So I've been based here in Auckland for just since June, and I've been focusing on trying to make more connections. I was the MC for a dating event called Thursday a couple months ago. So that was really fun. Just facilitated some like connection exercises between the singles that were there. They run events down in Mount Maunganui, all about empowerment and just to spaces to talk about the more taboo topics. There was a panel of sexperts, and basically women got to write in their anonymous questions, anything to do with pleasure and relationships, and then we would kind of delve into those. This was actually a super full circle moment for me. I feel like this should be included, that I was actually on the panel with my sex therapist that I worked with for multiple years, and that was such a crazy moment for me to be sharing that space with her, and to be going from that kind of client therapist relationship to actually just being on the panel together.
I'd love for you to share with our listeners something that's coming up in your heart place and how people can find you.
This summer, I will be running my first ever multi-day retreat. I haven't booked dates just yet, but it will be within a couple hours of Auckland. I haven't decided the whereabouts just as of yet, and you'll be able to get any of those updates through my Instagram. Looking to run a couple events this summer, one multi-day retreat, one just like day retreat as well. And what these retreats would look like is just the application of the golden pleasure method to a multi or one day experience. Maybe be added to my mailing list as well. So you can always just send me a message and say that you'd like to be added, as that's where I will send the retreat details out to first. There would be workshops on nervous system safety or pussy power or communicating like a baddie. So that's what to kind of expect from these spaces.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And I look forward to sharing this with all of Heart Place Hospital, and creating more fun with you and more pleasure with you.
Amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.